You will be notified about agree to our record. It is shared on YouTube on an unlisted video, so it's not public. Okay. So we are ready, Daniela.
Yes. It is 8 o'clock. Welcome everybody to our 142 Toastmaster session. Today is the last session for this year before we go on holidays and take on a nice break before we come back in September. Some guidelines to keep in mind throughout the session today. Please turn off your phones or put them on silence mode. Please notify people in the house that the session will start now. Also, turn off the microphone, and if you need to stand up or go somewhere, please turn off the camera as well. Be reminded that the session will be recorded. Since there is no way to select who can be recorded or not, you may leave the session if you do not wish to be recorded. Today, 27th of July, we commemorate past events and celebrities of the day, starting with Saint Natalia de Cordova, who became a saint of the Catholic Church after making the conversion to Christianity. More interesting events of this day is that in 1919, the Chicago race riot was ignited after a young Black man was stoned and drowned in Lake Michigan for swimming in an area reserved for whites. In 1940, Warner Brothers released the Looney Tunes animated short film, A Wild Where, featuring the debut of Bugs Bunny and the familiar incarnation. And lastly, in 1953, the Armistice Agreement ending the Korean War was signed in Central Korea. Today, the 27th of July, we also commemorate World Head and Neck Cancer Day. We have 157 days left until the end of the year. Now, I pass the stage to our first Toastmaster, Patricia.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Daniela. Welcome to you all. I see we have. Thank you. Oh, we can keep on applauding, but let's start the meeting, the session, please. So I see we have a lot of people in the room or in this session, so I won't be able to speak to you. So I'll proceed to speak and to describe our special session today. Today we have a very special guest who is George Avramescu with a learning moment. He's going to speak to us about a very, very important matter which touched us all the last few months, which is about working from home. But when you look for George Avramescu in LinkedIn, you see that he is an accountant. That is spooky. I'm just kidding. So Avramescu, welcome, George. George is an international speaker. He's an influencer, a mentor, a coach. And so he's all we want to listen to, who we want to listen about such an important matter. But first of all, I'm going to call Rodrigo, who is going to tell us if there are any goats in this session. I'm confused. So Rodrigo, please.
Yeah, we have goats this session. We had the cows a few sessions ago, and today we have goats. So it's going better and better. I see you have 100 participants today. I see a lot of them are native speakers, English native speakers. So this is going to be a challenge for me today to be a grammarian of English session. So my role, as I'm sure most of you know, but my role today is to be the grammarian. And it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day is written just above me. It's goat. So I'm sure all of you know the animal goat. What perhaps you don't know is that recently the GOAT has become also an acronym for greatest of all time. So my challenge for you today is for you to try to incorporate this word of the day, GOAT, into all your speeches, all your interventions. And as a particular challenge for today is that you try to use GOAT in both meanings. So I'll give you 1 point if you use GOAT for only one meaning, and I'll give you 2 points if you use GOAT in both meanings. So let's say, for example, if you say, my favorite animal is the goat, it has one meaning. And in another sentence you say, this player is the GOAT, is the other meaning. So this player is the greatest of all time. If you say, this goat is the goat, you are using both meanings in just one sentence, so you'll get 2 points. So this is it. Good luck, everyone, and let's try to use proper English today.
So, thank you, Rodrigo. Let's make this session the GOAT. So, 1 point. So, let's continue. And now, if you look at the problem, at the agenda, we have a column with the times of the interventions. And who's controlling this time is the timekeeper. So I call the timekeeper, Paulo Oliveira, to explain to us his responsibility today.
Hi. Today I'm the timekeeper. This important function is about the compliance with scheduled times shown in the agenda. If you see in the agenda which speaker has 3 times, left column is the minimum time for the speaker, and I give the green card like this. The yellow card is the normal time, and I show the yellow card. At the right column is the maximum time, and I show the red card, like this. After 20 seconds from the red card, I give 1 big cheer, and the speak must end, like this. So, at the end of the session, I will share my report with the scheduled time compliance. I wish a great session.
Thank you, Paulo. So now, if you see the agenda, we are going to move on to the first part of it, which is the George Avramescu's presentation about working from home SWOT analysis. So I welcome you, George, to the stage, virtual stage, of course.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing the screen right now. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
perfect. Okay, right. Okay. Let me see how I can collapse this. Oh, perfect. Okay. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. once again, thank you so much for inviting me here at PMI Portugal Toastmasters. It is quite a privilege for me to be here. So thank you so much, and understand from you guys that there are quite a few audiences from around the world, and I'm quite excited right now. And I'm not really sure what you meant by spooky, Patricia, when you said that I'm an accountant. For a second I spooked myself as well. Yes, working from home and being an accountant, it can be a bit tricky. You're right. Now, obviously, everything is spinning around the pandemic these days, and I'm talking about our family life, our social life, our public life, our work life, with all this impacting on our day-to-day habits. Obviously, the pandemic is everywhere. It is in the supermarkets, it is on the public transport, on the street. There are warning signs everywhere. And I guess the most common warning sign right now is keep the distance. Keep the distance. Sometimes it is 1 meter, could be 1.5 meters, could be 2 meters. You probably have seen it all. It all depends on where you go, and obviously you have to wear the mask inside, and so on and so forth. Depends on the from country to country, and so on. And it all started in China, and then it spread into Europe, starting with Italy, and then France and Spain, and then USA and Canada, and all the other places, before eventually landing in South America, and then starting to spread more and more. I would easily say that it spread just like internet, only faster. So some of us obviously know people that got infected. I also know people who got infected. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be friends of friends, or friends of friends of friends, or even further. And obviously some of us do not know anyone that got infected at all, and we'll probably end up on the beach enjoying the sun. Especially you guys in Portugal, you probably go straight to the beach. You know, I don't know anyone infected, you could say, so I have decided to just enjoy the sun. I'll just take my chances. If I do not get infected, at least I have enjoyed the sun. Some of us obviously really fear the virus. I don't, but some of us do. And some of us just don't think that the virus is real, and believe obviously this is just a made up thing, just to create economic chaos, or just paranoia among us. But the reality is the following: this is all happening right now in terms of the effects surrounding us, and we do follow some form of rules and guidance, and our lives have changed, whether we like it or not, or whether we are believers or not. Even the topic of this webinar has been designed in the context of COVID-19. So had it not been for the virus, we would have probably have this presentation in a room full of people, and obviously networking, exchange phone numbers, exchange email addresses, probably having a beer at the end of the session, or having a glass of wine. I don't drink, but you could have that. Now, obviously, our homes have become a place where we eat, we sleep, we work, we go to the toilet, we work out, we do everything. We clean the place. We effectively, we are doing everything in that place. Some of us obviously love it. Some of us hate it. It just became a bit of a lifestyle for some of us. And the way I see it, it's I split it in three categories. The first category is the people who already used to work from home in the past. So for them, it didn't make any much difference. And obviously, I refer here very, very much to the actual IT sector. The other category is the one who had to adapt lately. And the other category is the one that doesn't want to adapt to working from home. And I'm gonna come back to that as well. Okay, because these people actually they may have been destroyed by this new normal, at least temporarily. And I do have some stories, and these stories are coming, believe it or not, from United Kingdom, where I have seen people resigning because they had to start working from home. And they said, no, we are not going to work from home because we love being away from home so that we can again love our home. So it's effectively it's like being on holiday. Actually, before going on holiday, you dread that moment to go on holiday, and you're at work, and you dread that moment to go on holiday. You just can't wait. You're just counting the days. 3, 2, 1. I'm on holiday, and then obviously, if the holiday is not going to be for 2 or 3 days, if it's going to be for a week at least, then towards the end of the holiday, I mean, it happens to me, and I'm sure it happened to quite a few of you as well. You just start missing work. I miss work. So towards the end of my holiday, I start missing work, and I would like to go to work, and then I go to work, and then at some point I start missing holiday. And same with being at home. Some people just love going to work so that they would love to come back home, so that they would love to go back to work. And I've had a conversation with an FD from London, and I thought it was quite funny. This guy, he's got some properties in north of England, and he said he wants to buy some more. So I said to him, you know, don't rush in, don't rush in. Just wait a bit, because obviously coronavirus will have an effect on the actual economic situation globally, and the prices should go down. So why don't you wait for the prices to go down and then buy it? And then this guy, he said, he's quite savvy, and he said, no, in north of England, the price won't go down even further. I mean, they already rock bottom. And I said, hang on a second, it's not possible, because unemployment should go up. So if unemployment goes up, clearly prices should go down of the house prices. And he said, don't worry about that, George. In north of England, nobody's working anyway. Everybody's already unemployed. So for them, nothing has changed so far. So I thought, just you know, yeah, you're right about that. There's nothing to worry about that. So obviously, what happens now? Well, the more the COVID-19 has spread, obviously, businesses ask themselves this question: how can we still provide services if employees stay at home? Okay, and I had a look in Portugal. In Portugal, 69% are working in services. 31% are manufacturing and agriculture. In UK, 81% are working in services. And in Romania, it is about 52. But actually, the average globally is about just above 50% working in services. And this business, they all of a sudden they said, oh, hang on a second. If we can't provide the service anymore, we will have nothing to actually. If we don't create it, we have nothing to provide. If we don't provide, and we can't sell, we can't invoice, we can't cash in, we can't pay salaries, invoices, anything else. So eventually we will go bankrupt. So they kind of shook up a bit all of a sudden, and they said, hang on a second, let's ask people to work from home. And you might argue with me here, you might say, hang on a second, this is not new, working from home, it's not new. I mean, businesses used to do it anyway in the past. And I agree with you, but partially, because only some of them used to do it in the past, okay? And you're probably looking at the very, very big corporations, very, very big companies, which were mixing a bit of working from home with a bit of working from the office, okay? But actually, the day-to-day business, the small business, the medium business, and even some of the large businesses, they were quite reluctant to the idea of asking people to work from home, because they didn't really trust the people to work from home, in that they didn't perceive it as having full control. So what they said, what if people don't want to work from home? So that was the main figure point for them here. Obviously, usually people are quite reluctant to change, and then they're supposed to be possible for people to work from home. I mean, imagine not every person can create the actual correct working environment to work from home. It was also supposed to be a safe and secure working environment, which was supposed obviously to be provided, which is quite difficult to be achieved, especially when you need support from the IT department. I mean, I remember even Google in the past used to say to people, you know, you can work from home, most of you, but some of you can't work from home because we have some sensitive data which we don't want your family or your friends or any other people to start gaining access to. Okay, what if your network is being breached, your home network is being breached? So the safety and the security was also an issue. Also, businesses had to contribute to staff extra expenses of working from home. And this could obviously include utility bills, electricity, gas, water, food allowances, internet bills, or in some cases, as Patricia mentioned, the accountants, they also needed to contribute to some printing costs, okay? Because obviously quite a few people in different sectors, service sector, they need to have some printouts as well. Also, businesses had to start measuring the actual productivity of the people working from home. So bear in mind, not all businesses had the resources or the capability and know-how to enable people to work from home prior to COVID-19. So this was all new to them. And ultimately, businesses had to ensure the quality of the services provided while working from home is in standard parameters. So especially the clients would like not to avoid seeing a drop in the quality they were used to, because that would make them either to change service provider or to ask a discount or some form of compensation. So the way I've looked at it, I said, hang on a second. I think we can do a set of SWOT analysis. And one of the SWOT analyses, actually all the SWOT analysis, they would be assuming that the pandemic is over and the working from home becomes the new norm. So imagine for a second that we somehow found a successful vaccine. We have successfully made it available to the public and successfully put an end to the whole charade, to the whole pandemic, okay? If working from home becomes the new normal, in the same way home delivery has become the new normal for people, whether it is food or groceries or anything else, I have designed this 3 SWOT analysis based on 3 approaches. And one is company's view. And this is the way the business sees working from home, looking at its own interests, not employees' interests, okay? But what this is best for the business, not only for it to survive, but to minimize costs and maximize revenues. Now, the second one would be the team's view. And this would be the way the team, as a component of the business, sees its own interests by trying to ensure that its performance is as good as before, or it can get even better. Now, the difference between team's view and company's view is that the team will take the company's interests into account, but the company will not take the team's interests into account, okay? So effectively, the company, it's the full circle is the actual whole, and the team is the first layer within this whole, within this outer layer. Okay, and the last one would be George's view, and that's my subjective view. And this is my own view based on my own interests, and my view will be different from, I don't know, Ivan's view or Patricia's view or John's view, because maybe John has 3 kids, maybe, I don't know, Gabrielle has 1 kid, and maybe Rachel doesn't have any children at all. And maybe Francesco is 22 years old and he wants to move to Australia next year. So this is the subjective view of the individual who is part of a team, who is part of a company. Okay, so we're just drilling in. Okay. Now, just before we jump to the first SWOT analysis, which is the company's view, I invite you guys to turn on your or just access your smartphones and try to answer this question, which is very simple: to work or not to work from home. And it's either you scan this QR code from the right-hand side, or you just go to www.menti.com and you type in 317356. And let's see, maybe I can just, hang on a second, maybe I can screen it here. Oops. Okay, so I'll just give you some time. So maybe it's too much, 3 minutes. I'll just drop it. Maybe you can throw some answers over there. But let me tell you something, guys. When you say working from home, if you say yes, it means that you should be. I didn't do that line, did I? I'm not sure. When you say yes to working from home, it means that you are willing to take up working from home. Okay. When you say yes to working from home. If you say no to working from home, it means that you are willing to work from home temporarily, and then once everything ends with this this thing with the coronavirus, then you'd be going back to not working from home. Okay, so we can see that we have a clear majority right now, and people are still voting. And by the end of this session, clearly, I will be sharing what my view is on whether I like working from home or I prefer to work in an office. So people are still voting, guys. And please feel free to fill in the chat as well with some comments if you must. I've just removed the watch, guys, the timer. I don't know what happened with these lines in here, where they're coming from, these green and red lines. But anyway, so we've got a clear majority here, and that's 37 people for yes, working from home, 10 people for no, that's the answer, not working from home. So let's just crack on. And I think you can still vote in the meantime. So I'm not sure where these lines are coming from. Okay, it's disappearing. It's disappearing. It's like magic. They showed up and now they're disappearing. There's some red ones here as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It becomes more exotic. So just moving on, the company's view, where a business, remember, a company or business has been primarily created to generate profit. This is above all expectations. Obviously, people have from a company or the statement that a company is making. I mean, we have heard many businesses saying that the most important thing for them is the people. Yeah. And some others are saying that it is their clients. Some others, they're quite philanthropic and they are just pushing their CSR agendas by supporting various causes. But guys, ultimately, if a business is not there to make a profit, it would be called charity. So as long as a business is there to make a profit, the main purpose is to gain wealth for its shareholders. Okay, so this is how the company sees itself at the top layer. Okay, and just before we jump into the actual strengths, weaknesses, threats, opportunities and threats, remember, you can call it a strength or a weakness if you have it. Okay, if you don't have it, it's an alleged strength or weakness. So the first one for a business, if they have it, is that if the business has staff which is IT literate and capable of efficiently working from home, so if the staff has the staff has to be quite IT savvy with the crucial software the company is using, as well as the communication tools made available without being slowed down by working from home rather than working in the office. Also, if the business has the correct IT infrastructure and the financial resources to sustain working from home, because many companies, number one, only have basic IT infrastructure, and number two, they just cannot afford financially to invest money in a remote working system. Obviously, quick enough to be up and running within a couple of weeks, like it happened with COVID-19. Okay. Also, if the company has the necessary resources to pay the required level of candidates, obviously, right now that as location is no longer an issue, and not all businesses will be able to afford to pay professionals while the demand for those professionals has gone up all of a sudden, but it's there and it's very available. Now, this would be the main strengths, and obviously this list is not exhaustive, and there are many others, and you can think of so many, and you can obviously fill up the chat with those. But jumping to weaknesses, the first one is lower staff reliability. I mean, staff can do what they want, and while working from home, they can always say that the internet was down, or the boiler broke down, or the washing machine broke down, or something broke down, anything broke down. And also that it took them 4 hours to do a 2-hour job. Okay, so what do you do then? What do you do? Also, high staff turnover, and the loyalty for the company decreases if most employers provide the working from home facility. Also, another one is lack of company culture. And I'm asking you guys, what company culture? I mean, let's say Olga works from Kiev, and Dennis works from London, and George works from Bucharest, and Ivan works from Porto. What is the company culture? Or actually, what is the difference between this company culture, this company that has all these people, and another company with a culture having employed John, which works in Australia, and another 2 people working in Singapore. So what is the company culture? Okay. As opposed to other company, which has all the employees in, let's say, spread over Portugal, but they're in different cities, and even within the same city, but they never interact with each other apart from being online. Okay. What is the company culture? How can you identify yourself as an employee with that culture, or as a person with that company culture, if everybody is online? Okay, this is one of the weaknesses. Okay, now if we jump to the opportunities, the main one is there's no office cost, there's no stationary cost, there's no office snacks and drinks cost. Okay, and I've been recently witnessing a business in London who switched completely from working in the office to working from home, and it was quite lucky for them, because the lease was expiring on the actual office, and they said, you know, we're not going to renew it. We are just going to scrap it completely, and they got rid of a lot of cost by doing that, because they were hosting about 400 people within their offices in central London. So they got rid of rent, they got rid of service charge, business rates, insurance, electricity, water, cleaning, anything, all this stuff that you normally pay in terms of looking after the actual office. And that for them, for all these people in prime location in London, that was about £900,000. Okay, it's about $1 million. And then they saved about another 300K from stationery, paper, all these pens, paper clips, all this stuff. And another £100,000 from coffee, sugar, tea, milk, anything that you can find in an office in terms of the actual perishables. And so they saved about £1.3 million per annum. Okay, it did cost them about £200,000 to set the whole thing up remotely. 200,000 per annum versus 1.3 million. And they've done it. They've done it. So they've seen the opportunity and they just took it. They just took it. Okay. Now the next one is it's much cheaper to have people working from home in terms of the actual cost of office setting. You just give them a laptop, give them a small printer if that's necessary, give them a smartphone if that's necessary. If they don't have one for themselves, you just give them another smartphone. But you're saving with all the actual setup. You're saving with the desk, you're saving with the chair. You don't need to think about any orthopedic items. What if the neck doesn't stay properly, or the back? As a company, you don't care about that anymore because they are sitting at home. They're staying home. So they have their own chairs. If they're faulty, not my problem as a company. If the desk is not big enough, that's not my problem as a company. Okay. There's no glass wall for me, no coat hangers, no large printers, no water dispensers, no nothing. There's nothing for me to pay for. So it's not just the actual maintenance, the actual rent and all the other costs, but it's also setting up and having all these people who can become quite finicky. And also, there's no health and safety or misconduct at work risks or issues to result in compensations. Okay, so as a company, you're saving money with burglar alarms or security costs or fire extinguishers or fire security costs. Okay, COVID-19 compliance. Yes, various hazards which could all result in complaints, fines, penalties, any form of compensation, okay, as well as negativity around the office. I mean, talking about company culture, yeah. Somebody could say, oh, where are you working? Well, I'm working in this company, and they don't really care about employees. I mean, my chair is not good, that is not good, that's not good. Oh, why don't you work in my company? My company has all these offices with all this, and we have tea and milk and fruits, various snacks at lunch. Oh, great, I'll just move there. But if everybody's working from home, you don't have this. You can't compare it anymore because the tea and milk should be in your home, yeah? But you also have some threats as a company. And the first one would be people are just unwilling to work from home. They may leave. So new people have to be recruited online, interviewed online, assessed online, yeah, absorbed within the business online, and start obviously work online, meet everyone online. Hello, John, online. Aim to get along with everyone online. I need to get along with John online. I don't even know this person. I've only interviewed him or her. Okay, so everything needs to be done online, and forget about thinking, hang on a second, we are familiar with each other. No, you are familiar right now with each other because you just switched from working in the office to working from home. But if the working from home becomes the new norm, it means that you will at some point get to a point where everything is done online, and all the people the company has more and more people who have been recruited online. They've been doing everything with these guys online, and less and fewer people would be from the old times when they switched from working in the office to working from home. Okay. Well, the working environment of people working from home may not be secure enough, and I mentioned that before. Yeah, they could leave the machines on, and somebody else could be watching, and also decrease productivity. I mean, there could be some lack of trust from the company's perspective, and clearly a higher IT department cost. More staff must be employed to obviously oversee and manage and maintain the IT systems. Okay, and as I said, this is not an exhaustive list. I'm sure there are plenty more on each individual section, and this is happening from a company's perspective. But let's move to the team's perspective, okay? And the team has also strengths. And the first one is they should, allegedly, have more rested staff, okay? They should. The staff should be more rested. Why? Because people should be able to sleep more. They should be sleeping more. If they do not travel, as they could wake up later in the morning and not spend time on dressing up and preparing for the journey. I mean, one of my colleagues said to me, you know, George, I just woke up one morning and then I started working. I said, wow, that's amazing. And she said, no, I literally started working. Great. No, George, you don't understand. I didn't put any clothes on me. I just started working. I just woke up and just started working. I thought like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's exquisite. You didn't have to waste all that time with that. Yeah. So it's amazing. Wow, that's fantastic. And obviously I was referring to the commute, but other people can just jump into the boat. And that's obviously a strength for the team, because, you know, you have people powering through immediately. Obviously, happier staff, allegedly, people could achieve a better work-life balance if they're working from home, and should be able to spend more quality time with the family, as well as work when they want, as long as the work is complete and to the actual required standard. And obviously, staff should be richer because of all this money that could be saved from not traveling. I mean, in London, traveling is quite expensive, and not traveling is quite good because you don't spend all that money on it. So you'll be richer, okay? And you don't have to buy ready-made meals. You can eat at home, and you don't have to go for lunch with the teammates. And you don't have to buy all the coffees on the go. You don't have to go to Starbucks in the morning. You don't have to buy all those expensive obviously coffees, and you don't have to dress up nicely and smart to go to the office. It's quite good, isn't it? From a money perspective. And ultimately, the staff should be more relaxed. Why? Because if staff is less stressed, it should become more relaxed. So effectively, allegedly, they should be healthier. But there are weaknesses within the team as well. And the first one is the lack of team homogeneity, okay? It is very difficult to create a team unity or to consolidate a team when people have been recruited online and they have never seen each other face to face, and they have not engaged with each other into small talk. I'm not really a person of small talk, but sometimes it can help, okay? A team lunch can help. A team building can help, okay? And this is the first weakness of a team, from a team's perspective. There are others, like lack of live mentoring and teaching. And I love to be mentoring people. I love to be teaching people. And I find it, especially in the last few months, I found it very, very difficult, or just more and more difficult to motivate staff or to mentor staff when facing the distance, or to genuinely assess whether the person is really qualifying for a promotion other than just through the quality of their work. Okay, because they might be doing a fantastic work, but it would be definitely more difficult to assess their soft skills. Okay. And the last one, which I've included here, is the lack of team spirit. I mean, things like, we are a great team because of this and this, or which we rock, or we are the best, or the fact that they can help each other at work and outside work for small or big things. These things may very well disappear, or just like camaraderie will disappear, okay? This is another weakness, and we have to be aware of it within a team, which is part of a company. I mean, imagine a football team. Imagine, let's play a home ground, FC Porto, or actually, you know what? I'm going to pick Benfica. Imagine Benfica. Imagine all these people saying, you know what? We are going to play from home. I mean, it's impossible. First of all, you know, I'm not going to be absurd. It's impossible. So playing from home, clearly that's not going to happen. But imagine these people creating all this team spirit by not playing among themselves. So effectively training individually, training separately. It's impossible. It's impossible to create a team spirit by not being present among themselves. Now, obviously, sport is sport, and sport is different than providing a service by working in an office or working from home, clearly, okay? My point is that the team spirit exists even in the offices, and that should fade away as a weakness, as part of a team from working from home, okay? And please bear in mind that, and think about it, and just, you know, throw your comments on the chat or outside the chat afterwards, yeah? But there are opportunities as well for a team. And the first opportunity is it's easier to delegate. I mean, if you can't face John to ask him to do something, then you just send him an email or a text, and that's it. It's done. And you just give him a deadline, and it's done. It's easier to delegate. You just, anyone can become a manager from now on, because you can easily delegate stuff. You don't have to be brave to face that person and give a task. You just text it, and it's done. Okay. And the next one is stuff can log on anytime if needed. Okay. And this is a great opportunity for teams. Okay. Because people may be so used with the method of logging on and off from home, so that 5 more minutes for a crucial task at midnight won't make any difference for them. But it will make a huge one for the good of the team and the company, actually. Okay. Clearly, another opportunity is less interruptions among team members. Okay. The work can be fluid and continuous if family members present in the house do not start to interrupt the actual workers. Okay. So if you lock yourself within a room, then you have no interruption, as opposed to being in an office where you get constant interruption. Okay. And also the fact that the negativity is controlled and contained. I mean, usual negative workplace gossiping or rumors or slandering or harassment or bullying or shunning, all these, they're more difficult to exist and could be better recorded and used as evidence if all these are communicated, obviously, via text or via email or, then face to face. Okay. But there are some threats as well. And the first threat is the stuff is more difficult to monitor. And you may argue this with me. You may really argue it. And the trust would be essential. Staff can do what they want. There were people just moving their mice now and again to give the impression that to the IT monitoring that they are working. Okay. Also, it's harder to communicate with other teams. So imagine your team trying to communicate with other team. Okay, it's more difficult. It's easier within an office to just summon the teams and just go for a brainstorm, or you just get a room and try to nail it. Okay, it's much easier in an office rather than just let's all zoom in. And obviously, some project managers might argue that with me, and they could say they might say to me, you know what, we've been doing that for years, George. We've been doing it for years like that. And, it's okay. It works. Okay. But what about the other categories which are not used or who are not used to work from home? And for them right now, or from a remote location, and for them right now, this would become the new norm. Okay. Also, the professionalism is fading. Okay. They say that a person feels better when wearing certain clothes, especially office clothes. Working from home means that you can literally work in your underwear from the kitchen, or even from the bathroom, like that guy with who took a shower from, the whole thing went ballistic on the media. And gradually, this may have a negative impact on your confidence or your self-esteem of the person, which may impact on the team. So. Clearly, this may have an impact on the actual professionalism, which may be fading because of all this working from home, all these habits becoming more and more uninteresting, unimportant. You wouldn't give so much importance to so many other things which you'd be doing if you'd go to an office. Okay, I mean, I have seen some interviewers being, let's say, not properly dressed or underdressed when they were obviously interviewing some interviews, and that was not really professional, and the interviewers didn't really want the job anymore, because even though if they obviously they were offered the job, they refused the job because they thought that they wouldn't identify themselves with the actual company culture of those people taking the interviews. Okay. Another one is potential bottlenecks. Now, if somebody is not doing their job and cannot be reached for whatever reason, while another team member is dependent on that piece of work, then we have a bottleneck. which acts as a domino effect, impacting the team's performance adversely. Okay, so if I need Ivan to do something for me, for my work to be completed subsequently, so that another work to be subsequently completed, then we can have a bottleneck if Ivan is not doing his job or if I'm not doing my job. Okay, and then on top of that, if we have a potential communication disruption, and this can be anything from a genuine internet being down or poor phone network, or just me not being there online, then again, then obviously the bottleneck might interfere with the actual communication, and it will just escalate to creating a big problem. Okay, and I'm sure that this list is again not exhaustive, and there are more to be added. But before we jump to my own opinion, I would invite you again to either scan this QR code on the right hand side, and just choose one of the scenarios. I mean, the first scenario is working 2 days from home and 3 days from the office, or the second scenario is working from now on, if the working from home becomes a new norm, 5 days from home. So what is your price to work from home completely, as in 5 days a week? If you're being paid 15% more, would you be willing to work 5 days from home? Or would you require 25% more to your salary, or 40% more to your salary? Or could you say, you know what? I'm not happy with working 5 days from home. I'm happy with working from home, but not 5 days. So the question is, for 5 days, are you willing to work 5 days from home? What is your price, or is it priceless? You just don't want to be working 5 days from home. I'll just stop it once it reaches about 40 votes, 45 votes. Okay, so far we have people who are willing to work 5 days from home. So all the time, from home, it means also from any other remote location. Okay, so not from the office. So from your holiday, you can work on holiday. So some people are saying, 15% of the people are saying that, you know what? So not 50, 44% from the people are saying, if you pay me 15% more than what I'm earning right now, I will be working 5 days from home. So effectively, you, company, you can stop your lease, get rid of the office. I'm fine with that, but you have to pay me 15% more. So that's the majority so far, okay? Some people are saying, you know what? If you don't pay me 40%, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna fall within the other category, the yellow category. Let's see how many people actually. So 15 people, they just want a slight increase. You know what? Out of these 15 people, we might have people who are already very, very used to working from home right now. So they will say, you know what? I'm already used to working from home. If they're paying me 15% more, for me, it's happy days, happy days. So there you go. Okay, once we hit 40, we just stop it. It seems that we have a clear majority, 18 people, a clear majority. It actually is not a clear, it's not 50% of the whole audience, of the whole respondents, but there you go, 19. Okay, so this is what people think. So bear in mind what other people responded. Okay, bear in mind they think, oh, okay. So not everybody is so inclined to work from home unless they are really paid very, very good money to stay at home. So some people are saying, no, maybe not. Maybe I should be working from home in a split way. Okay, so let's move on and let's jump to my favorite, which is my subjective view. And the question is, am I a fan of working from home or working from the office? And you might be able to tell from what I'm going to say next, or I'm going to tell you anyway at the end of the session. And the strengths, for me, the stuff that I have. I do have a big house with several rooms, one of which can be used as office. So I do have that. So for me, working from home, it's not a problem from this perspective. I also have fast internet and a very powerful PC. Okay, so again, the company doesn't need to spend any money for me in terms of providing me with the actual equipment. I'm fully equipped in terms of the actual software and IT capabilities. I'm fine, and I have more financial resources because obviously I could use less smart clothes, and I don't have to spend money on those. I don't have to spend money on dry cleaning, and I don't have to spend money on commute. So I can keep all that money, all this money. But there are some weaknesses for me as well. Now, the first weakness, and this is the most important, is I also have a 1-year-old boy ready to play anytime. But when I say anytime, 100%, not 99, 100%. And he can make a lot of noise. Trust me on that one. I mean, whoever has kids, you know, once they know when, or maybe they remember when they were 1 year old. Mine looks like that. Oh, I had a problem here. I'm going to exit a bit just to show you the picture, just in case you can't see him. I'm not sure if you can see it. No. Can you see it? No, I don't know. It looks like that.
We can see it, George, but
yeah.
I advise you to move on. You're running out of time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and this was me. This was supposed to be me here watching him. So that's my first weakness. Obviously, I'm joking about that, but it is a weakness when working from home. Now, the next one is fridge loaded with food, which can be obviously used several times per day, or blocking one room with work stuff, which this is what I'm doing. I'm blocking one room, and effectively you'd be blocking one room, okay, with the actual work stuff if you be working from home completely. But there are some opportunities as well, and one of them is more time to spend with my family, and this is a great opportunity, and I've been starting to do this more and more. Also, no time and money spent on traveling to the office, which can be reinvented, can be used in other instances. Also, going to bed later, or waking up later, which I'm already doing. I'm already taking advantage of these opportunities, and I'm being home as early as possible. But talking about this opportunity with being home earlier, there's also a threat with that, because you see, in the past, when I used to work from the office quite a lot, and I used to not be home that early, I used to have some me time to read or think on the daily commute. I used to just take a break from work and take a break from home, and that'll be my me time just before I get to home. So I could read something, I could check my smartphone, and I could just hear my thoughts. And also, the house may become boring as doing everything in it. And it feels a bit boring for me. Just do everything from the place. Absolutely everything. And I'm a guy who likes a bit of variety, changing the environments, and you may be the same. But obviously, if the money is good and you're being paid the premium, then you'd be willing to work all the 5 days from home. Also, more wear and tear on the actual own facilities and equipment, of your own desk, of your own house, and so on and so forth. And less human interaction. Okay, that's a threat for me. This is from my perspective. Less human interaction for me. This is quite a threat, and less focus, because obviously at home it's much more difficult for me to focus on the actual work. As Patricia mentioned, I'm an accountant, and less every day is different. So, guys, just to summarize, obviously, just to summarize what we've covered right now within this quite debatable topic, which is working from home, and let's say if it becomes a new norm of working from home for the majority of the services which can be provided from home, if we work from home. I did cover the pandemic, which affects our lives and was spreading worldwide. And while people stay at home, obviously business had to ask people to work from home. It wasn't a matter of choice anymore, whether they could trust them or they couldn't trust them. They had to do something in order to keep their businesses alive during the pandemic. And even from now on, it's a big question mark for them. Obviously, we covered the 3 SWOT analysis, which is the company's view, the whole view, and then the team's view, which is part of the company, and obviously my subjective view, and it could be your subjective view, which is part of the team, which is part of the company. And now I would be inviting you to just throw some questions within the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on how much time we have available. And just try to think about working from home in general, and the topic that, the subjects we've dissected in this session, and just throw some questions around, okay? And if we don't have too much time, you can always contact me and throw some questions via email or via text, okay? So thank you so much, everybody. Muito obrigado por ouvir. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, George. A big round of applause. No sound now, sorry. So now I invite you all to put some questions. We have 15 minutes or so for you to have the chance to speak and ask questions to George. And you can do it if you raise your hand, and the video man will give you the word, or I can look at chat and see if you write your questions. So be my guest, all of you.
We have some questions on chat. Yeah, but in this meanwhile, I would say thank you, George, for your great presentation. And for me, my experience in working from home, it was a great experience because I had a chance to change my life in a way to do more stuff for myself. I'm used to wake up very early in the morning, at 6 past 15, and in this time of lockdown, I use it to learn a lot, and to walk and to do stuff that I'm not used to do so often. You know, for me it was more strength than weakness. It was a great experience. I'm still working from home right now, and it was amazing. Your presentation consolidate and give me some point, another point of view. It was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Roberto, please, you can speak.
Hello, George.
Hello, hello.
Hello, George.
Hello, Roberto.
Thanks for the speech, and maybe because you are a counter, like Patricia said, just for a joke, but which is a benefit in here because you have put all the things ordered with different points of views, which is good. The company, the team, and me or myself. I have just a quick and hard question for you, which is, it's not clear from your presentation, but that's a personal question. If you have to choose work from office or work from home with nothing in between, what would be your choice?
With nothing in between, it's either one or the other.
Yes, which is a hard question.
I don't think it's that hard. Without hesitation, I would say definitely work from the office. Definitely. And this is not only just because of the fact that I'm an accountant. I admit the fact that it would be quite difficult for me to. Actually, it would be more difficult for me to work as an accountant, to work from home than within an office. But I like touching people. I like hugging people. I like talking to people. I like seeing people face to face, absorbing, extracting all that body language, which right now you are extracting probably from me with what I'm doing with my hands. But yes. We will be missing a lot of stuff. You know, I'm not saying that working from home it's not a good thing. It's fantastic, and we are evolving and we are changing, and we shouldn't be reluctant to change. We should embrace change, but we should embrace change as much as it can help us as individuals in the way we've been built or in the way we've shaped ourselves. Okay, so for example, if I would not have any more choice, and I would have to work from home from tomorrow onwards for the rest of my life, I would not have a problem with that.
Okay.
But if I have the choices to either work from an office or work from home, I will clearly work from an office. And I'll tell you very quickly this. The other day I was working from home, and I finished. I just finished, and my wife said, "You finished? You're now available for us." I said, "Oh, hang on a second. No. I just need 5 or 10 minutes to clear my head. I just need some time to rewind a bit. Just give me. No. You said you won't be commuting anymore, so obviously you can spend more time with the family." Yeah, of course, I did say that, but not immediately, So no, leaving the joke aside and answering at point blank, I would prefer to work from the office and just interact with as many people as possible, and this is how I am.
Okay.
Thank you, George. Now I have a question from Sofia Zutautas. She asks, has working from home changes started to be affected? For example, is there a change one way or another being more visible?
Can you rephrase that? Can you ask again?
Yes, or I'll ask Sophia to speak, because this is what is written.
Yeah.
So she's written.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Sophie?
Yes, I can.
Please.
Okay. No, I was just wondering if you have already seen a change happening in the market one way or another. Are the companies already moving more to working from home, or are they going back to the previous model? What's going on? Is there something more specific going on already?
Yes. Thank you, Sophia. Thanks for the question. Yes, everything has already changed and is still changing. Okay, more and more businesses have already started to accommodate this because they had to survive, and so some businesses didn't have any choice. Some other businesses took it as an opportunity to make the changes. Okay, we are talking about the fact that, remember, before the pandemic, we are looking at governments, we are looking at businesses which were doing changes very, very very slowly. Okay, so they were not changing very fast. But all of a sudden, because of the pandemic, because of the fact that it was a crisis in the air, they had to do something very, very quickly. And we've seen governments drafting emergency plans very, very, very fast. We've seen businesses saying, "Oh my God, we're not going to survive, we have to change it." And once they've seen that actually changing it with more people to work from home, seeing how possible it is, seeing how productive these people can still be by working from home with so little cost for them, they said, "You know what? We might be sticking with that." And just to get to the point, Sophia, to your question, I've seen so many businesses cutting down on the office space. They didn't eliminate it completely, like the example I gave you during the actual webinar. But what they're doing, they're cutting down on the office space. So, for example, if they would have 1,000 square meter, they will cut it down to 300 square meter, and they will put in some hot desks for some people to just come and go, and for just to make it more flexible, because they've seen the fact that they could really cut costs completely. So, and the trend will continue to be like that. The trend will continue to be like that, and in England it already happened, in London it already happened. Barclays is drafting plans to cut offices. Santander is doing the same. Lloyd's Bank the same. The banking system the same. Insurance companies are doing the same, and a lot of other countries will follow suit, and they're already doing that. So there you go.
Okay, thank you, George. Now another question from Mona G. What techniques did you apply in the 2 Romanian quarantine months to transform the weaknesses into strengths?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
which techniques did you apply during quarantine to transform the weaknesses into strengths?
Well, the weaknesses are some points which you don't have. As I said before, strengths are the things that you have. The weaknesses are the things that you do not have. And just to some things I was not able to change, and some things I was able to change. Now, I didn't really apply certain techniques to change this, to change the weaknesses into strengths. And obviously, you said Mona asked the question, okay? And obviously, as you clearly know, and everybody knows, the textbook is quite simple, as in you have to, the textbook is saying that you should be converting or transforming weaknesses into strengths and threats into opportunities. But it's easier said than done, okay? And within these 2 months, I was not really able to change the weaknesses into strengths. But what I've done, I've adapted to the current situation, and I have seen it as a temporary aspect for something that will have an end at some point. But again, just to add to that, as I said before, if, for example, if from tomorrow I would have no choice but to go to working from home completely, then at that point I will engage into converting weaknesses into strengths.
Okay, so let's move on to another question. Rosanna said, I'm thinking if we can expect any changes for nurseries. And she says, to be honest, I don't see myself going back to work. So she's trying to change career. That really is something not everyone can do. And well, here in Portugal, we have nurseries open since the beginning of June. So every country has its own particularities in this case. But
so what was the question? What's Rosanne's job? Is it is she?
I don't know, Rosanna. What is your job? Is she there?
Yes,
no, if she
Rosanna, she is still here, but maybe
nursery practitioner.
Yes.
Okay. So let's move on to the next, which is from Anna Bopova. Will the world benefit or lose from working from home? Will the distance distract people from mutual understanding?
Can you repeat the first one? Sorry.
You can speak, Anna. Do you want to pose the question? Please be my guest.
Yes, thank you. Will the world benefit from working, your opinion generally, in 1 year, will the world benefit from working from home or lose? This is the first part of the question. And second, where do you think will be people distracted from mutual understanding if they are working from home? Like, will we face this effect?
Okay. Thank you, Anna. Mm-hmm. Well, I think would it benefit? I would just give you my opinion clearly, because I don't have a crystal ball to say what is going to happen in 1 year's time. But the world has continuously changed. Okay, continuously change, and we see these changes as progress, as moving forward. Okay, and we are hoping to see this pandemic, just as somebody earlier was mentioning, how do you transform a weakness into a strength, or a threat into an opportunity? We should see this pandemic as a catalyst for the world to be progressing faster. So effectively, we were supposed to get at this point later on, but we got to this point right now. Now, if this is good or bad, We don't know because we're still experimenting. Okay. Now remember, this is like taking a tablet. Okay. We have an infection. We have a disease, and we're taking a tablet, and we feel better. And working from home right now, it's better for us. It's better because we spend more time with the families. It's better for the companies because they spend less money on the office. But it could have a secondary effect. The tablet, yeah, I feel better. I took it. I feel better. But what if it affects my liver? So, as you mentioned, what if actually being more distant, having more distance between ourselves as people, we become more socially distanced from each other, and this will impact on us being less friendly. And for example, I know Portugal is a Latin country. Portuguese people are very, very touchy, very, very warm people. They kiss each other, they hug each other. Romanians are the same, Italians are the same, Spanish are the same, Brazilians are the same, and so many other. Ukrainians are very, very similar, and so many others are very, very similar. So do you see that as an advantage? I'm not sure. Would that affect you? I think so. Is it good? Not really. I don't think so. Okay. It all depends on the actual country. It depends on how the person is built. So in the long run, I think as a progress for the world, this is good. We were supposed to get at this point at some point anyway. Now we are here. We got it faster. Is it going to be benefiting us in the long term? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now I'll give the opportunity to Daniela to speak. Please, Daniela, you can put your question here.
Okay. Can I say it quickly? Yes.
Yeah, hello.
You have time. Hi. Yes, my question was in regards to the part where you were talking about the teams and the strengths of this, like this is good for the team because you can have more relaxed time, learn more. And in my case is the opposite completely. So what would be your suggestions to how to deal with this work from home when I'm having all the opposites? If there are all more on the negative side, I'm not more relaxed. I'm overworking. I feel like I have more work, less time for myself. And what could be your advice for that case? And maybe it's something for delegating. You said that it's good. You could delegate more work. What is your intake on that?
Well, my opinion on this is that I don't think you're, Daniela, I don't think you're the only one experiencing this, okay? I think there are so many people experiencing this. So what I say is that if people are used to working from the office, they should be used with a certain schedule, with certain guidance, certain rules, certain habits, okay? Certain habits. If you switch from working in the office to working from home, you should also take that baggage with you and try to apply the same at home. So try to create a similar routine to be as productive as you were before and following similar rules. Obviously, you are at home. You need to make sure that you are benefiting from the benefits that should arise from working from home. But if you, let's say, you are working from home now, so you're saying, hang on a second, if I'm working from home, I should, if I would work from the office, I would be waking up at 7 o'clock. Now I'm working from home, I'm still waking up at 7 o'clock, but I start at 7:30. Well, you already made the mistake. You've already made a mistake because that time, the fact that you are not commuting, you're not going, you're not traveling to the office, that should be yours. So effectively, I'm sorry to say this, Daniela, the problem is sitting with you, okay? So you need to, and this is not about time management, because many people think like, oh, hang on a second, it's time management, Daniela, you're not managing your time properly. No, I don't think it's a problem of time management. I think it's a problem of you handling the new elements of working from home. Okay, the fact that, okay, you were starting, let's say, at 9 o'clock at the office, well, start at 9 o'clock at home. You're finishing at 5:30 in the office, well, finish at 5:30 at home. Oh, if you are thinking about doing something for your own benefit within the normal 9 to 5:30 for 2 hours, then yes, work another 2 hours outside the schedule, but try to be as effective and as efficient within the normal time frame. Okay? Did this answer a bit of your question?
Thank you, George.
Yes.
I think, Daniela, I think we're satisfied with the answer. The problem is us, my darling. So we have to work on it. Now, this is a new situation for all of us, at least 100% working from home. Thanks a lot, George, for your clear presentation and to give us your point of view, of course, but I think we all have different experience, but of course we can relate to your presentation completely or not, depends on each one of us. Now let's move on. Thank you.
And if anyone has any more questions, just please drop me a line or
yes,
or
if you want, you can use chat to put questions to George. If he pays attention to it, he can answer. I'm sorry to the ones but we are 4 minutes late now, and we are really strict with time, so we didn't show you the red card. You were lucky, George. We're very pleased to hear you, to listen to you, but now we are moving on. So the next part of our session, we are having a prepared speech. Dennis Sorokin is giving us a speech from his pathway. Here in Toastmasters, we have a learning experience which we call the pathways. When we enter the club, we make an assessment to see what we want to work on which skills we want to work on, and we choose a pathway. And Dennis Sorokin is the pathway called Innovative Planning, and he is going to present us a prepared speech, which is the third of his second level. And his evaluator is Andre, who I call to present the goals, the main goals of this project. Andre.
Thank you, Patricia. Good evening, everyone. I'm also working from home, so please excuse if you can hear other noises. I'm going to present the speech of Dennis Sorokin. He's in the pathway called Innovative Planning, as Patricia was saying. I must say that Dennis is on a steep ascent. His speech today is about mentoring. Here at Toastmasters, we have a mentoring program. So the goal of his speech is for him to show that he understands what is the role and what is the vision of mentoring in Toastmasters. And I believe that Dennis may recall or may mention an aspect of his life where he was a protege. Dennis asked me to focus on a specific topic, but I'll leave that for the end of his speech when I give him his evaluation. Dennis, good luck with your speech. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, I'm sure. Good luck.
Sorry. So now I call to this virtual stage Dennis Sorokin. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Dennis Sorokin.
Life is not just the passing of time. It's a collection of experiences, their frequency, and their intensity. Dear Toastmasters, dear guests, today I'm going to talk to you about some of my experiences with mentorship. Two of them being before I joined the Toastmaster Club, and the other one after I've been a member of Toastmaster Club. the first experience that I've had with mentorship, it was when I joined the university. A mentor called Joaquin has been assigned to me to show me how the institution works, to show me the facility. I was like a goat for him, and he was my goat head. He would show me the institution, show me how it works. He would help me on my first semester with all the doubts that I might have. Neither of us choose each other. It's just the way that the system is set up for new students to be welcomed into the institution. To be honest, this experience with mentorship that I had, it was my first one, wasn't that great. Okay, it served the purpose, but it didn't inspire me. It wasn't a goal-focused mentoring experience. Later in my life, I found out a mentor that for me, he was considered as a GOAT, greatest of all time. And I thought that it happened by accident. Jim Rohn helped me to learn valuable life lessons and to be more and become more. With him, I also learned that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And it was the case for me. I was ready to learn those life lessons that he was preaching on his seminars and writing on his books. After that revolutionary one-way mentorship that I consider, because I never met him, I never talked to him, I just seen him and read his books. After that revolutionary experience, I started to consider my mentors, every author, every book, every public figure that would inspire me to do more and to become more. Mentors are that. Mentors accelerate the rate of learning, and they make change happen faster and give you the push that you need to achieve your goals. Speaking of goals, in that time, one of my goals was to become a better speaker. And so I attended a Toastmasters session as a guest. I remember that as it was yesterday. It was very exciting for me. The Sergeant at Arms welcomed the first Toastmaster. And I saw that first Toastmaster, and he was well dressed. You must dress for success, they say. He was confident, eloquent speaker, and he was an engaging leader. I remember thinking to myself, wow, if I could only be around somebody like that, I would definitely benefit from that experience. That session ended with 3 great speeches, and I even had the opportunity to participate in the table topics impromptu speeches. I was sweating from my hands. I was nervous. I used a lot of crutches such as and but in the end, I delivered something funny and the audience enjoyed. And that made me join the Toastmaster Club. And you know what happens when you join the Toastmaster Club? One of the first things that you must do is to choose a mentor. I thought once again, wow, that's very interesting. Only some days ago, I was thinking to myself, only wishing to be around somebody like that person, and now I can choose him as a mentor. My decision was made already. I asked Roberto if he could be my mentor, and he said yes. I was very lucky for Roberto to be my mentor. Roberto is a very experienced Toastmaster, and he, as a mentor, helps me to challenge myself. He challenges me. And you know what is on the other side of the challenge? When you surpass the challenge, on the other side is growth. And growth is what Toastmasters are all about. You want to grow as a speaker, as a leader, and you are in the right place. Also, in Toastmasters manuals, there is a difference between a mentor and a coach. A mentor is somebody who sets you higher goals and help you achieving them. On the other side, the coach has more specific goals with less time to achieve them, and he helps you with tips to achieve those goals. I consider myself lucky because Roberto is both of those for me. He's my mentor. He helps me achieve higher goals in my journey. And I also consider that he's my coach every time that he provides feedback to another members in this club when it is an evaluation time or another feedback session. So to conclude, little did I know when I joined the Toastmasters that my mentor would also reflect my opening quote for this speech. Because a mentor is somebody that is very experienced and he can pass all that experience to you. In Toastmasters, as frequent as weekly sessions and always with intensity. Life is not just a passing of time. It is a collection of experiences, their frequency and their intensity.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis. So this was a prepared speech about mentoring. And as you all have noticed, here in Toastmasters, we have some strange habits. Well, we applause. Well, we used to clap our hands, but now we have the sound on. And we used to shake hands, and now we do this gesture. It's a bit strange. And why? What is that about? Well, we pretend to welcome every speaker who comes to the virtual stage, and we want to boost his or her motivation. And that is why we clap our hands. And afterwards, after the presentation, we thank the speaker, and of course we take back the control of the stage, and that is these gestures. This gesture is about control, is to give control and to take control back. And what is this what is Toastmasters all about? Toastmasters is an international non-profit organization who is all over the world. In more than 140 countries, there are clubs. There are more than 60,000 clubs and more than 350,000 members. Every one of us starts as a guest. Every one of us are guests once, at least. And when we join the club, as I said, we have an assessment, we do an assessment, and we choose our learning pathway. In Toastmasters, we work on our soft skills, and these skills are public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, management, and leadership. In pathways, there are 5 levels and something like 15 projects. There are most of all speeches, prepared speeches like the one Dennis gave to us. It is a great experience. We have the opportunity to present speeches about subjects of our that we choose, and there are other projects that are directed for a subject like communication or negotiation. So we are here all to help each other. There are no teachers or students. We are here and we are all equal. And one important phase or stage of our sessions is the evaluation. In evaluation, we all have the chance to receive feedback from the audience and to give feedback, which is quite a challenge. We have to learn how to give feedback in a structured way and a constructive way. And in this manner, in evaluation, we use the sandwich method. We start by congratulate the speaker for his project. And then in the middle, we strengthen the weaknesses and the things that could go better in the next speech. And we end with a positive message to motivate for the next project. And this is what Toastmasters is all about. Toastmasters were founded in the United States in 1924 by Ralph Smedley. Ralph Smedley saw there was a problem between his students at YMCA. They were very good technically speaking, but when they had to present a topic, there were communication issues. So he started to arrange some dinners and ask guests to present a speech about a topic presented at that moment, which is the table topics. In normal sessions, we have table topics and we invite the guests and members to give a speech, 1 to 2 minutes speech about a theme that is given at that moment. And that is a very important skill also, and very funny, of course, so that we can answer our boss when we are stuck in the elevator and he poses a question, or when our child poses a hard question. So we are all always learning new skills and practicing. And Toastmasters isn't all about projects and prepared speeches. I today have a role, a very important role. I'm leading the session, and I'm taking care of the time schedule, and I see a yellow card, and well, I'm giving you energy to be here. So thank you. And now I'm going to move on, and I'm going to call Andre to present his evaluation of Danny's speech. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Dennis, for your speech. Well, as a starter, I must say, I don't know if you can see my hands, but I was able to see your hands perfectly. When you started, you have, well, now that we are speaking from home, the lighting, it's very important because it's very important that we can see the eyes and the facial expression and the body. So you had those funny pictures in the background. There's a lot of symmetry. You're in the middle, so that's perfect starting. And you start, as always, with an open smile and open hands. And what this makes is that this invites us to your speech. So I was delighted to start hearing you. I noticed that you also had some interesting catch-up sentences, so like mentorship accelerates the rate of change, or life is more than a collection of time, it's the frequency, the intensity. I think this catch-up sentences are very good to wake us up and to make us listen to your speech. This second sentence, the life is more than a collection of time, is about their frequency and intensity or of the experiences. Although I like the sentence, I felt when you finish your speech that this sentence sounds a bit memorized. So it didn't sound to me that natural. And although I said that you started with your hands open, and this is great, the majority of the time I could see only your head and your upper body, meaning that as another speaker was mentioning, body language is very important. And when we don't show, since we are not in a stage, and when we see only the upper body and the head, we are very limited. So the more body we can share, the better. Finalizing, I think your speech had a great purpose. Well, first of all, the the topic of the speech is great. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm sure you were ready. You inspired us with the purpose of learning and continuous growth. And it's obvious that you understood what is the role of the mentoring in Toastmasters. Thank you, Dennis. Keep your speeches always in the inclined ascent. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. So let's move on, and I'd like to give the word to the audience if anyone wants to evaluate Andre. So Roberto, you can speak, please.
Hello, Dennis. Congratulations. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So the subject is, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. For me, it should be in the other way around. Student appears. Thank you very much for showing up, for appearing in this club in our life. Thank you very much, Dennis. I'll be very brief. I really enjoyed the key sentences and 3 simple stories with 3 key sentences. When you say your colleague in the university, you have a very special sentence. We choose each other. So very strong. When you talk about your second mentor, coach, a very good sentence, which is true. Be more, become more. And in the Toastmasters, you've said something, dress for success. I would say, speak for success. Okay, it's more than dress and success. Is speak for success. Just a quick recommendation. It was a good idea to use the same idea in the beginning and at the end, but at the end I would do it shorter, not exactly the same words with the same idea, but with a stronger word, something like that. Time is something that you said, it's more than passing time. It's about experiences. You should say this speech is more like, it's more than 5 minutes. This is just another great experience, something like that, because that's what it's all about. Thank you very much, Dennis. Thanks for showing up in our lives.
Thank you, Roberto. Anyone else wants to give feedback to Dennis? Raise your hand or speak up, please. If not, I'm going to move on since we are a bit late. Anyway, you can all evaluate Dennis in writing in Basecamp, okay? So I ask you to do that. So we are moving on now. Just let me tell you that PMI Portugal Toastmasters is a club which was funded mainly by project managers, but of course we are open to any profession or character, if I may say so. We have 37 members right now, and you are all invited to become a member. You can speak afterwards with Rui Domingos, who is our Vice President and membership, and we'll have a lounge. After the session finishes, we are going to remain here and we can speak and we can take any doubts that guests have at that time. Now I'm going to move on, and now we are going to begin with the evaluations reports. And firstly, I'm going to call Rita Felix, who is the accountant. And Rita, I ask you to present your role today and to present your report. Thank you, Rita.
Okay, so the purpose of my role, the A counter, is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause fillers. Any word that can help to, like I'm doing right now, to complete a missing logic, such as, and, well, so these are considered crunch or pause fillers. I'm also trying during the session to listen for filler sounds. and also for words that are being repeated, such as I, these. So during this meeting, there were very good examples on how to avoid these filler words by doing some silence, for example. On the other hand, we saw some improvement areas from some of our speakers. Starting with Patricia, who is our Toastmaster, I would identify a few, to be precise, 8, some repetition of 2, to be precise, 4. There was a moment where you said important, and for 3 times that I could listen to. Then continuing, we had Rodrigo, who was also mentioning the goat, and the goat here being the animal, but also being the greatest of all times, which is the case of our team. And he mentioned 6 times, and some repetition, these, the. Then going on to our speaker made a good use of silence, breathing, especially in the middle of the speech. But in the beginning, he was very frequently using the and to be precise, it has been used 65 times, but this has improved during the speech as he became more familiar with the audience and also with the topic. Also 16 times I have noticed that he used some repetitions such as so, is, did, something to be avoided, probably using a pause. Dennis, in the case of Dennis, there was also 16 ahs, and there's also sometimes use some sounds to filler the pauses, like I cannot repeat, but there are some when you watch the video. And to finalize, Andre, with 2 ahs and some repetitions, so to be avoided for the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rita. Palmas. Thank you, Rita. Here they are. So now we are going to hear about goats. Rodrigo, tell us all about it, please. Grammarian's report.
Well, if I had a farm, I would work from home. And I had the goat in farming. And there I go. I have 2 points right now. Okay, let's begin from the first speaker, Daniela, Sergeant at Arms. Wonderful English speaking. I have no comments for it. Your English is fantastic. Thank you very much. Patricia. Let me tell you, Patricia, I've been following your English over the last few sessions, and I've noticed some improvement in there. Your English was already good. It's getting better and better every session we do in English. I see that improvement, so congratulations. Just a few notes, allow me. You said all who want to listen. You probably meant all, or we all want to listen to. This was in the very beginning. I know we were just warming up, so let's forget about it. I noticed another sentences you just said, like she written, you probably, at the time you were supposed to say she has written. We do an assessment, we make an assessment. Organization, which is, who is, organization, which, who is, you probably should have said organization which is, or that is. Club funded, you probably meant founded. And I think that's basically it. Just one note that applies for everyone. Let me just make sure that you, let me ask you to pay attention to the singular and plural of the words you use. Very often in several of the speeches of the interventions, I don't quite hear the singular and the plural correctly. So words like experience or experiences, speech or speeches, choice or choices, this should sound more clear to, at least to me, it should sound more clear the difference between singular and plural. So going on, let me change to George. George, obviously you're familiar with talking in public and applying the English language. So I think you're very comfortable all the time. I don't have much comments about you on any specific sentence. Perhaps just at a certain time you said in that the people, you should have said in a way that the people, I'm sorry, that my note is not 100% here, perfect here, but one other comment is about acronyms. I see that you use acronyms quite often. My suggestion is that you try to explain exactly what the acronym means, because perhaps it's not clear for everyone. And I'm not talking about GOAT. Yeah, so moving forward, André Santos, very good English as well. I see you have a good English also. Just a few notes. The lighting is important. The lightning is important. Oh, I have clapping already. Should I finish or should I shut up and
No, just move on, Rodrigo. One more
Okay.
minute. See if you can.
One more minute. Thank you. Okay. I was delighted to start hearing you. Probably said I was delighted to hear your introduction. Inclined ascent, I Google it. There's no inclined ascent. I think you probably meant something like ascending on the inclined plane. It was the closest I found. Danish, very good. 2 points for Danish. You, at the time you said, read these books. You probably meant read these books. My decision was made already. Probably meant my decision was made. Little did I know, that sounds weird. I have to think about some suggestions for you, but little did I know, it sounds weird. Finally, Rita, we saw some improvements. We saw some areas of improvement. Apart from that, no comments. And finally, just for the timekeeper, Paulo, you spoke slowly, clearly. Congratulations, no note for you. So that's it, thank you. I'm sorry for taking so long.
Thank you, Rodrigo. We always have the chance to improve our English. So now we're moving on to evaluate the time. Paulo, please, your report.
A great session today. We are 8 minutes late. So moving on and see the time spent with speech. Patricia Diaz, she is the Toastmaster today, and spend the first time 3 minutes green, and the second time 5 minutes and 28 seconds in the yellow time. The George Avramescu, the invite, spend 49 minutes and for more 4 minutes than the agenda. Dennis Sorokin spend 6 minutes 58 seconds in the yellow card. André Santos in the yellow card 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Rita Felix, yellow card 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And the winner is Rodrigo Polis with 5 minutes and 9 seconds. More 2 minutes. It's all, folks.
Thank you, Paulo. Thank you, Paulo. So we're moving on, and now we are going to evaluate everything that wasn't evaluated till now, and I call Eliana, please. Eliana, your stage is yours.
Thank you, Patricia. So, beginning with our Saturday times, Daniela, the meeting started on time and she gave us all the important warnings. However, I must say that there was no display of our club banner that should be on your background, I suppose. To our first Toastmaster, Patricia Dias, it was great seeing you smile throughout the entire session. And you made good use of humor, like the small roast you gave about George being an accountant. And you used the word of the day immediately after Rodrigo announced it. So that was a good point. To the filling of the sandwich. Careful when the transitions between speakers. When you do this, you cover your face and you show us your hands, so like this. Because you have a background cover, your image became distorted. So my suggestion to you is, I don't know, make it like this, other than not just in front of your face, so your image doesn't become distorted. There was a mishappening between when you introduced Danny's speech, but I believe you still managed it well. For all of us, let's just remind that Patricia and another of us are native speakers. So it's not easy to manage a session like this in a foreign language. But overall, I believe it was the GOAT session of our online sessions. So congratulations, Patricia. You did an amazing job. To our speaker, George Avramescu, great intro, a great use of live increase throughout the speech, and the bonus for using sense of humor about the exotic red and green lines during the presentation. That's a great way of overcoming obstacles during the presentation. Have fun about it. Not everything is going to be 100% accurate, and sometimes things can go wrong. But make humor out of it. Have fun. And that was a great example. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I must say I was a bit concerned about the long written slides. However, though the size of the letter was a bit small, you did explain it in detail and allowed enough time for us to read it. Just be careful, because in some slides, the text in the bottom will not be visible. I don't know if Zoom cut it, or maybe it's not the right size, I don't know. But sometimes it appeared cut in half. And also the QR code in the end, it also appeared cut in half. However, great design in your presentation, nothing to say about it. On your second inquiry, maybe you should include like a 0% or no increase at all in income. So to try and cover every situation, because for me, for instance, I'm working at home and I won't making any more income than I used to do before. So, and I'll continue to do it, but I wasn't there. So I have to choose 15% because it was the closest nearest to my situation. Another suggestion, so I'm still in the feeling, would be to look directly in the camera lens so that you can grab everyone's attention, because it's different if you look directly or if you look to the side. You can, I believe that you can get the more connection with every one of us if you still, precisely, yes, I can see you now. I can see that you're speaking to me. It makes a huge difference when we are online, whether at Toastmasters, whether at work. Look at the camera lens. I know it's our instinct to look at our own image or to look at the image that is being presented. But when you're speaking, try to make an effort to look at the camera lens. It's hard, I know. It's hard for me right now to doing this, but make an effort, it's worth it. Overall, amazing structure, amazing presentation, George. Congratulations, and thank you for sharing with us a crystal clear working from home strengths, weakness, opportunities, and tracks. Please come back. I'm sure we'll be happy to receiving you.
Thank you.
Now, for our evaluator, André Santos, evaluating the Dennis Sorkin speech, made a good use of active listening and an excellent evaluation of Dennis' speech. Congratulations. Our accounter, Rita Felix, I have nothing to say. You made a GOAT report, let's say, so to speak. Rodrigo, as our grammarian. Rodrigo, I have to say I have mixed feelings about this word of the day. On one hand, yes, it is an animal. On the other hand, it is a slang. It is slang. And I doubt any of us in a normal session will choose a Portuguese slang word as word of the day. However, although it's a slang word, you still made it in a clever way by incorporating gamification in the session. So kudos for that, and you made it very interactive. Congratulations. Our timekeeper, Paulo Oliveira, even though we are running late, 8 minutes, he still helped manage to keep the session as on time as possible and delivered an accurate speech. Our video man showed André Santos for a considered amount of time while Patricia was talking about our sessions, how do we organize them, but he still managed to make it as versatile and creative as possible. We still have to find a way to actively communicate with the video man during the session to avoid missed happenings like the one while Rodrigo was talking. So a quick chat between, or please let Rodrigo talk another minute. I know we're running late, but it's important. So please communicate with each other. That's the only way we can make these sessions better and better. Congratulations to everyone involved in today's session. It was definitely the GOAT sessions of our online sessions. Congratulations once again. Patricia?
So now I think we evaluate almost everything. I don't know if you filled the survey. We are asking you to everyone who is a guest, who's the first time here, or members also, please fill the guest. The link is in chat. And we are moving on for the moment called Club Business and Awards, and I call our president, Roberto Freitas, to speak about the news of the club. Welcome, Roberto.
Thank you, Patricia. First of all, I have to share a secret. I don't like a goat beard, except for ZZ Top, for those guys that remember ZZ Top, a rock band. However, I like goat cheese, even for salad or for pizza. But better than that, like Eliana said, this was for sure our GOAT online meeting, great of all times online meeting. Thank you, George. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you all for being here today. And also for our special friends from this club and our guests from Silicon Valley, Chicago, South America, West Europe, and East Europe. In this club, like George have said, we are working from home or speaking from home on this club since mid of March. And you have been learning how to speak, communicate online, how to prepare contact speeches, and even finishing our pathways and our Toastmasters projects. So it's time for a rest, and we are going for holidays, as Daniela said in the beginning, for 1 month. We will be back in September. What is going to happen in September? For sure, we expect to restart in September online. It's not clear, so it's a kind of work from home. It's not clear yet for us when we are going back to the office or to the school for returning on the face-to-face meetings. So we expect to be on the fourth quarter between October and December. It will depend a lot on how the schools will open or not, and will accept us again for our meetings. Of course, we miss the team spirit, as George has said. We miss the face-to-face, and because we are Latinos, we miss the human touch, the hugs, and the compliments. So last but not least, we say we come here to talk about develop our communications and leadership skills. So for all of us in this club, you have a great opportunity to show or to develop your leadership skills. We have an open role in the officers for a vice president of educations, and we'll make elections on September the 7th. So you can ask yourself, you can meditate, think about what the great experiences we have earned on this club. So the question now is, what can I give back to the club? So if you want to join the club as an officer, please think about it and be prepared for going for elections on the September 7th. Just let me know. Last, just to apologize for our guests for the delay. We are 5 minutes late, and that's something we have to improve, but I'm sure we'll improve in September when we come back. So all of us, I would say, have a safe trip home. So let's say have a safe trip to the bed or to the living room, wherever you are going now. So, Patricia?
Thank you, Roberto. And now, before we go away, let us give a round of applause for our video man, who is Gonçalo. He's in the backstage. And I'd like to thank again George for being here, and I'd like to thank PMI Romania chapter for giving him a bit to us, like this partnership. We are very pleased for this experience. We hope to have you back, and I invite you all to stay in this session in the lounge. Afterwards, we are staying here to answer your questions or just to have a e-coffee. We are now having e-coffees or e-drinks, whatever, or e-dinners. And now I'm going to call Daniela to say goodbye.
Thank you, Patricia. And thank you, everybody, for coming to today's GOAT session. We all hope you enjoyed it. Have fun during your summer vacations. And I announce the end of the session.
Great.
Great session.
Great session. Congratulations all.
Thank you, everyone.
We have 41 survivors in the room.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I don't know if any of our guests have some questions. Like
Yes, I didn't have the chance to ask our guests because there were so many. I couldn't choose. But Isidore,
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry. Oh, I'm so tired of speaking Portuguese. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think I could understand.
Sorry, Isabel. Where are you from and how did you get to know us?
I've received this email from my university here in Ottawa. So I'm currently supposed to attend a few workshops for my entrepreneurship mindset. So I've chosen that one, even though I didn't know where it came from, who is doing this, who is presenting this. So that's how I meet you online. And I think that even though we can meet physically, we can meet also virtually, and it could be the same. This is what I was trying to say in the chat room. This is, of course, my comment. It's not a question. So I think whatever we can do virtually, physically, we can do it also. And it could be, you can have the same result. This is my opinion, as I said. Depends on how you will conceive how you will receive the question or how you would understand, like an email, for example, you could understand a lot of stuff through an email, even though it is only 3 sentences. You could have a lot of information about the person who is sending this message, even though you didn't talk to that person, you didn't see that person, you didn't meet that person before. You could understand, this is me, because usually I understand when a client is mad. I could see that even with a hi, I could see it. I could feel it. So, and I will know how to respond to that person.
Okay,
That's
thank
how
you.
I'm doing with my boss. Yeah.
So you are invited to come back in September if we
Thank
are
you.
virtual, and I think we'll be.
Yes, I think I will be until next year, because we got the news today that we'll go back to the office. They say January 4th, but who knows, maybe it could be March, it could be the year after also, because you never know.
Yes.
Things are very complicated nowadays, so you
Yes.
don't know. We don't know.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if there are any other guests in the room. I don't see faces, only names.
Thank you, George, one more time, and thank you, people from outside of Europe, and people from Europe also, because it's too late, like for Romanian people who are 2 hours ahead of us. So it's not so easy to be awake at midnight and to pay attention in everything. So thank you one more time for everyone who survived to this session, because it's very intensive one, as you see, and it was a great time, have the chance to work with all